Okay, guys, welcome back to another video with Straight Outta Content. And today we're giving you guys some breaking news. Jermall Charlo released from jail. Yes, released from jail due for first court appearance March 28th on a felony assault charge. So what I'm going to do, I tried to go live earlier, but what I'm going to do is just make this quick little video and put this up on the internet so that you guys can see it. The link is in the description below. You guys can also read most of the article in the description below. I like to give my source for everything. So my source is boxingscene.com. You guys can check out the full article there. This article was put out, I think at the time of this recording, it's 11:25 here, Houston, Texas time. And this, obviously Jermall's from Houston, so this all happened right here about 4 hours ago in Houston. I'm gonna give my little tidbit on the situation, my 2 cents right on the situation, but I'll go through the article. I'll give you guys the exacts of what's going on in the article, and then we can move forward with my feelings. Will the Canelo fight happen? Even in this article, they talk about Jermall being on the short list. So this is all very important and something that we're all looking forward to, as my computer is very slow right now. I don't know what's going on with my internet tonight. It is really giving me the blues. Like, I cannot help it. So make sure you guys subscribe to this channel, tune in. I have a source that I'm going to try to get an interview from, or try to get some, just some information on kind of what's going on. I know that he's not really going to want to do too many. His source, or the source that I know that's close to the Charlo brothers here in Houston, might not want to talk about the situation, just because the lawyer is going to be like, look, don't say anything. Don't do any interviews. Just focus on boxing if that's what you're going to do. So I don't know what's going on with my internet. So hopefully it doesn't go on to the next. I was going home just to go to Boxing Scene. But like I said, my internet is really being weird right now. So let me just make sure I'm still being recorded. Okay, everything is still going on there. So what we're going to do is let's just jump right into the article while my internet is spinning. It's very weird. So right here. Jermall Charlo has a battle ahead that is far more important than any super fight previously within reach. The unbeaten 2-division and reigning WBC middleweight titleist was released from Fort Bend County Jail on Monday, following a modification of the bail bond conditions. Charlo was arrested and booked on February 11th with one count of third-degree felony assault, for which remained in detention over the weekend. So he spent some time in jail for a little while. Here we go. A first court date has been set for the case, which stems from an incident which allegedly took place last September 5th over the Labor Day weekend in Fort Bend County, according to a copy of police records obtained by boxingscene.com. The arrest affidavit alleges that Charlo did then and there intentionally, knowingly, and recklessly cause bodily injury to the alleged victim by punching and grabbing him by his hair. It is further presented in and said court that at the time of the offense alleged above, the alleged victim was a member of the defendant's family or household. The matter was investigated and presented before a grand jury who found enough probable cause for the state to move forward with the case. Terms of the bail bond, which was set at $10,000, were established on January 18th with the first attempt to issue an arrest warrant on January 26th. Charlo was ultimately served on February 11th, at which he was booked and officially charged with assault causing bodily injury of a family member and having a previous conviction for family violence, a third-degree county. It says a third-degree county, which carries a sentence of 2 to 10 years in prison if found guilty. The arrest warrant was issued February 14th upon his release from jail. No, the arrest warrant was returned February 14th upon his release from jail. So Valentine's Day, pretty cool. He got on Valentine's Day. The alleged incident in question would normally carry a misdemeanor charge for the first-time offender. However, Charlo, who hails from the greater Houston area, is being charged as a repeat offender due to a prior conviction from a 2015 incident in Clark County, Nevada. According to the affidavit, it is further presented in and said court that prior to the commission of the aforesaid offense, the defendant was convicted in Clark County, Nevada, of an assault involving family violence. It is further presented in to said court that prior to the commission of the aforesaid offense, Texas Penal Code 2201B2A states that the offense under subsection A1 is a Class A misdemeanor, except that the offense is a felony of the third degree if the offense is committed against a person whose relationship to or association with the defendant is described by section 7102B, all the sections, whatever, it's right there. Family code, if it is shown on the trial of the offense that the defendant has been previously convicted of an offense under this chapter 19 or section 2003 or section against person whose relationship to or association with the defendant is described by section 7 family code. Because the alleged incident in question took place during the pandemic, Charlo is subject to enhanced punishment, right? Enhanced punishment because of the pandemic. The arrest affidavit noted that the alleged incident was committed in an area that was, at the time of the offense, subject to declaration of a state of disaster made by the President of the United States under the Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act, or the governor, or the presiding office of the governing body of a political subdivision, or subject to emergency evacuation order. The U.S., including Texas, has remained in a pandemic since March 2020. The distinction in the arrest affidavit subjects Charlo to second-degree charges, which doubles the maximum sentence up to 20 years in prison if found guilty. Such charge also carries a separate fine of up to $10,000. He can pay that, even without jail time served. The crime in question carries a minimum prison sentence of 2 years, whether charged as third or second degree, although it includes the possibility of probation under either charge. That is important. I will read it one more time. Although it includes the possibility of probation under either charge. I'll get to that later. According to the court records, Charlo is due to report to the 268th Judicial District Court on March 28th for a first appearance. At that time, the boxer will likely be asked to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, which will determine the next course of action. Again, I will speak on that as well. Jermall and twin brother Jermall Charlo both fought for Premier Boxing Champion PBC, who responded to an inquiry, but unable to provide much insight given the legal measures. Yeah, there's not going to be a lot said until court dates, but outside of court dates, there's not going to be a lot said. It's an open police investigation. Tim Smith, Vice President of Communications and 2019 BWA Marvin Cone Media Good Guy Award recipient, noted to Boxing Scene, "We don't comment on legal matters." Very, very, very intelligent. That's very smart. Here we go. The latest arrest came less than 2 weeks after Charlo was fully exonerated on previous robbery charges from an incident last July in San Antonio. A misunderstanding over the boxer's debit card being initially declined for services rendered led to a dispute which he believed to have been resolved, only to have been issued an arrest warrant 3 weeks later. Charlo was initially charged with 3 counts of second-degree felony robbery. Though all charges were dropped, investigators secured video evidence to back the boxer's denial of any wrongdoing in the matter. Charlo, 32-0 with 22 knockouts, has been out of the ring since 12-round unanimous decision over Mexico's Juan Maicas Martel. Hopefully I'm not ruining that. Last Juneteenth. Remember, he got the key to the city back then, too. So, like I said, there's a lot to play around. I'll get to that later. At Toyota Center in Houston's hometown. The win marked the 4th successful title defense since his reign was upgraded from interim to world champion in June 2019. The next fight of Houston-based boxer has not been yet determined. He is on the short. This right here is very important. The next fight for the Houston-based boxer has not yet been determined. He was on the short list of potential next opponents for pound king and 4-division champion Saul Canelo Alvarez, 57-1-2, 39 KOs, who continues to weigh his options, including a potential fight with WBA light heavyweight titleist Dimitri Bivol, 19-0, 11 KOs, for a planned May 7th ring return. Canelo would move up to super middleweight to challenge the reigning undisputed champion if he is chosen as the next opponent, while Alvarez would move up to light heavyweight should he choose Bivol as his next opponent. If the latter occurs, a contingency plan is yet to be revealed for Canelo. For now, such matters remain secondary as the fights to clear his name in a court of law. Okay, guys, so that's it. That's the full article. And like I said, I'm going to touch on a few things from the top down. Just from being here in Houston over 12 years, I'm originally from New York, but just from being in Houston here over 12 years, over 12 years. Right around 12, maybe even 15 going on. I don't know. I came here like 2006. But what I'm saying is that, like I mentioned, this is his last, so he has, first off, he's out, right? So first off, he got bail, and it's $10,000 bail. That's number one, right? So he's out. So now he can fight his case from the outside. Second off, it was in his home, right? Is in his home. His last case was way back in 2015, and it was in a state that he's not living in, right? So his last case, which was a misdemeanor, which he pled guilty to, right? It's a misdemeanor. So he pled guilty to it. Like, yeah, I did it. So what? It's no big deal. I'll pay the fine. I'll get out, right? Now, chances are everybody watching this, even including me, does not know that in the state of Texas, if you have 2 domestic disputes or 2 fights with your family, the second one is a 3rd-degree felony. Your average person does not know that. And I can guarantee you, when he had his incident, mind you, it's 2022 now. This incident happened in 2021. So that was 6 years difference. He's accumulated a lot in the last 6 years from 2015 to 2021. A lot, right? So his incident that he had back in 2015 with whatever happened with his family member back then, obviously he's a repeat offender because according to the law, they're able to go back 6 years. My question is, how far are they able to go back? Like, when does that get expunged? And it's very weird because you can get a lot of things expunged that they can't use against you. So it's weird that he pled guilty to it and stuff like that. My question is, I wonder, did he have that expunged, or did he just say it's a misdemeanor? I'm not tripping. I paid my fine. I did my probation or whatever he had to do, and then he got off. I really wonder that. Because if he didn't, then this is what's coming to bite him in the butt. If he did, then he will present that evidence like, you guys can't use this against me as my second offense because I had it expunged. Because when a lot of cases, especially even if you plead guilty, you're doing like a plea deal. So if you're like, yeah, I did it, that's fine, but you're only doing it in a plea deal, which he could end up doing in this. Like, he could end up taking a plea deal on a Fed case, getting probation, because like I read, both of these cases, I mean, his case, it has a probation attached to it with a fine, $10,000. And then on top of that, some community service or whatever. Like I said, this man has the key to the city of Houston. He is like this out here. I promise you. Jermall and Jermall Charlo are like this with the political people here in Houston, with the mayor here in Houston, with the people over at Toyota Center. Like, they are huge. Them and Derek Lewis are the 3 biggest stars now that James Harding left. The Charlo brothers and Derek Lewis are like this. And yeah, I guess JJ Watt is another guy, you know what I mean? Outside of like a Texan or something like that. Here in the city of Houston, like, these guys are major players here in the city of Houston. You can bet your bottom dollar that they are going to do everything in their power to get this kid at the very most probation, if not get the charge dismissed. Now, there's legal issues and all this other stuff. So I'm not a legal analyst. This is just my opinion. All right, I'm not a lawyer by any means, stretch of imagination. This is just my opinion from living in the city and knowing a little bit about the criminal laws or whatever that kind of go on in this city and all the other things that go along with that. I can only speak from my experience. So my experience says that if if he even has his March 28th first court date, that's not long enough. So he could get that court date pushed off even longer to say, look, judge, this is what you can do. He's going to get his team, and his team is going to be like, look, we need to push this out. If you want to fight Canelo on May 7th, we're going to attempt to push this court date past that day, right? Because what we don't want is you having to go and plead a not guilty, right, on March 28th, and then you're fighting Canelo March 7th. I mean, we don't want you to go March 28th and say not guilty, and then all the way up until May 7th, you're worried about your court date, right? You're worried about if you're going to go to jail. You're worried about this. You're going to have to be, you're going to have to talk to your lawyer a lot. You're going to have all these questions of people asking you about your case during the buildup for the fight. They're going to try, first off, they're going to try to get it dismissed before it, just like this other case got dismissed. And that junk happened when? Way back in, when did his first case? This one that just got, I think that happened in, let's see, bodily injury, January 8th. When did it in U.S. remain? Charlo reported district as fine as PBC. Where's the one? Where is it? The one that he just got acquitted for. Or not acquitted, the one that the one that they just dropped, intentionally known to recklessly bodily injury harm, last September, Labor Day. Okay. So this one happened. A court date has been case, says stems on it. So this happened September 5th. And he's just now getting a court date for March 28th. So he just got out of jail. So and he was in there for a while. So he has a case where he can say to the court, look, and they'll probably take it. Look, I need more time. I have so much stuff going on. I got to worry about training camp and all this other stuff. Can we push it off to April? Can we push it off to after May 7th? The judge might look at that and take into consideration that making this court date and making him choose guilty or not guilty or whatever can hinder his career. They're definitely going to take that into consideration. Like I said, established on January 8th, Clark County, 2 years prison time, assault, bodily injury and harm. February 14th, the arrest was issued. See, and that other case being in Nevada might play a huge role. That might play a huge role in this. I'm looking for the one where he got off just recently. I don't know how I missed that. The latest also came. Oh, here we go. The robbery charges that were back. Oh, last July. So he just got, free of so we had the incident in San Antonio in July, and it's February 14th, and he just got rid of that. Investigation any wrongdoing. It doesn't give the date. The misdemeanor boxes are resolved, issued warrant. Charlo was initially charged 3 counts, though all charges were dropped. Okay. So yeah, it was dropped this month. So that's what I'm saying. This is a very long process. It's not going to be quick. And they're going to continue to push it off to secure the Canelo fight. That's why I'm saying this. That's my point of everything. They're going to do everything in their power to push this thing off. Push it off to secure the Canelo fight. Because what they don't want to do is try to secure the Canelo fight. And then, if they don't get it now, they could potentially not get it later on down the road. He could have travel restrictions if he's on probation. There could be a whole lot of things that go on, right? So he wants to, right now he's on watch. Even though he's on bail, he can't leave. He can't leave the state. He can't leave the counties or the surrounding counties. So you won't see him traveling too far out of Texas. I would be surprised if he's even in Dallas for the Errol Spence fight. I will be surprised if he's even at his brother's fight in California. I will be surprised because I know how the probation system works here. I mean, I know how the bail system works here. Even though you're on bail, you still have to you have to call in every day. This is here in Houston. You have to call in every day and be like, hey, or you have to call in or text a number in every day. It's very weird, the system that they have. Even though you're bailed out, you still can't leave. Now, he might have different bail restrictions because he's a fighter, he's an international fighter. He may have different bail restrictions that allow him to leave, or he has to ask for permission to leave. Like I said, I will be very surprised if he's in LA or any other city. We shall see from his Instagram where he goes. But I guarantee you his lawyer team is going to be like, look, don't go anywhere. Stay home, train. PBC is going to work on getting you this Canelo fight. I know Canelo might be fighting these other guys. He might have that 2-fight Matchroom boxing deal for a third fight with Triple G after this light heavyweight guy. But again, everybody wants to see this fight. I think if Canelo takes Charlo now's the time to take Charlo because of where Charlo's headspace will be coming off of this incident. He's going to you can take advantage of that, right? Canelo's going to try to take advantage of that, try to catch Charlo at his weakest mental standpoint. Let me get him now while he's going through all this legal trouble. Maybe he won't be in the right mind. He'll be worried too much about that instead of worried about training and fighting me, right? That's the mind game of a fighter. So with that being said, also, the incident that happened in 2015 is not the same incident that happened in September. Completely not. In any way, shape, or form. Whatever may happen, whatever did happen in September, he was just arrested for. Think about that. Whatever happened in September, the guy's healed, right? He's totally healed. So even if it does go to trial, I keep getting so many emails, guys. Even if he does go to trial, he's not going to be able to, the guy who got injured, he's going to look just fine. They might have pictures, right? And they might show pictures. But if it does go to trial, full-blown trial, right, which would really hurt his career, he does not want to go to trial. Trust me. He does not want to go to trial. He wants to just take a plea deal. And maybe they can drop the charge to a misdemeanor or something like that. Because maybe they can, like I said, when I spoke about expunge the first one. So this one counts as a first one, which is a misdemeanor because it's in a different state. They're going to try to fight this thing from all different angles. But we don't have any pictures. We don't have any pictures or video or anything. The guy probably does. The family member probably does. And then again, this is a family member. Who knows where this family, the situation happened in September. Was that family member there on Christmas? Was that family member there on New Year's? Right? We don't know. The state took this case up. The state took this case after when they realized, this is his second offense, which still to me, I need to know. I would like to know if you guys are a lawyer or you guys know the legal system here in Houston. When does your first offense expire, right? Everything expires. So that's just what, I know it looks bad and he did a weekend over jail and stuff like that. He just got released because it's Monday and he did the weekend and got out. But, which really sucks for him. I know that must have been horrible. But not bad. It's like it was hard for him. He's a celebrity. He's a god here in Houston. Jermall Charlo is a god here in Houston. He was probably getting the best treatment. Everybody was mad cool to him. I can guarantee you that. And even if he did end up doing time, it would be very easy time. He wouldn't. But I don't see him having to do time. But my point is that this is a family domestic dispute of somebody who probably, if they ever did go to trial, might not testify against him. And if they don't have any testify against him, or they've got this guy's report nah, I don't want to press any charges, or nah, I don't, this guy doesn't cooperate, then the state's not going to have a case. So I know it looks crazy now, but to you guys, it might look crazy, but from being out here in Texas and kind of knowing how the laws work with the stand your ground, right? They were in his house. This isn't Nevada. This is Texas, and it's in Houston, Fort Bend County, Harris County, Fort Bend, Montgomery, and stuff like that. These are all surrounding counties of Harris and Houston. Houston is in all different types of counties. So, or vice versa, so many counties touch Houston. It's very big. So what I'm saying is that with his presence, key to the city, his presence here in the city, his income, his undefeated boxing status. He did just have a recent case, right, in San Antonio, but that was dismissed, so they can't bring that up in court. They can't say that he's a menace to society or a trouble because, like I said, just last year he got the key to the city. So all of that character stuff is going to come up into it. And then again, if there's no footage, right? If there's no footage of the fight, if there's nothing like that, which could work in his favor, it could not, right? A families fight, families get into arguments. But I'm telling you, if there's any footage and it shows him defending himself, he's going to be cleared. And here in Texas. So if he's in his house and he's telling somebody, yo, back up off me. Yo, back up off me. Yo, get off me. And they aggress him, like, right? They become the aggressor. Even for a split second, you have the right to defend yourself. So people like George Zimmerman and Kyle Rittenhouse can get off for defending themselves. Well, this is Texas. And you can fight even if you administer bodily harm. He's a professional fighter. If there is video of it, right, which we've never seen, no social media videos, nothing. You would think that if somebody got beat this bad, that the report is saying, you would think if somebody got beat this bad, there would have been pictures, there would have been video, right? If it's a family event or family people hanging out or whatever, or a family member, you would think somebody else would pull out the phone and be like, oh my God, I'm recording this, da 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 da. Or the person who was injured would go record themselves like, yo, I just got beat up but we see none of that. It reminds me of the situation with Floyd Mayweather with, the situation that he had with his past wife or the past mother of his children. It reminds me of that situation, which again, we had no pictures and nothing, no stuff like that. And he did have a prior domestic dispute situation and they railroaded him. But and he had to do 30 days in jail. And then everything else. But don't forget, that was in Las Vegas. That incident happened in Las Vegas, not in Texas. He didn't have the key to the city in Vegas. Yeah, he was a big fighter, but he's from Michigan. He's not from there. I mean, yeah, the Charlo brothers from Louisiana, but this Texas and Vegas are two different areas, completely two different areas. And that was a female involved with children as witnesses. That's another thing. You have the accounts of the children in the Mayweather case that were witnesses, and it's on a female. This doesn't have any of that. And if his wife was present, she's going to be a witness in his case, so they can't even use her. So that's what I'm saying. Guys, I think if like this article says, and this is Boxing Scene, not me. If this article says that Jermall Charlo was on the short list for Canelo, it's accurate. If Fight Hype says Jermall Charlo is on the short list for Canelo, it's accurate. Now, if other people say it, it's not accurate. So I'm not giving you any BS. I'm just giving you what these journalists who are in the scene, you see that they got it super fast. So Boxing Scene isn't even in Texas, but yet they got this article really fast and they got it right from PBC and stuff like that. So that's really cool. Like I said, I'm going to try to reach out and try to get some information. I know not too many people are going to want to speak about it. I know a lot of people are going to be asking Jermall because he has an upcoming fight, so he's training for that. A lot of people are going to ask him about it. But again, I guarantee you he knows exactly what's going on. I guarantee you they're not worried. They're not worried. And if he was already, because everybody was not making fun, but everybody was going crazy about his San Antonio case. Oh, Jermall Charlo got in trouble. He robbed somebody. No. Once the truth and the video came out, you got to see what happened. And I truly believe that's exactly what this case is. I don't see at the max, this guy gets probation. At the max. If they put Jermall Charlo in jail, who has the key to the city, want him, his brother, and Derek Lewis are the three biggest guys out here outside of football players in the city of Houston. And I don't think Derek Lewis has the same relationship with the mayor like the Charlo brothers do. They do a lot for the city. They're really active here in the city. They're always at the amateur events. Like, these guys do a lot. They have a big influence here. I just don't see them. No, I just don't see it. Max probation. And I'm talking like, hey, look, we're on paper going to tell you got 3 years probation. You're going to do 6 months. Can guarantee, like, I just don't see it. So we'll stay tuned, guys. Make sure you guys stay tuned for Straight Outta Content for all the boxing news, all the real boxing news. I'm going to try to keep continuing to put out a lot more boxing news, a lot more truthful boxing news, and just stay updated with all these things. But like I said, this is close to home. This is Houston. Is where I got my business, where I got everything that YouTube, everything is all coming from right here from Houston. So like I said, I've been to Jermall Charlo's gym, and it's dope. Maybe I might go out there, try to get some more information. I don't know. I don't want to pry too much. I kind of want to just let this kind of, go out, but I would love to get one of their guys, if not Jermall himself, his point of view on the situation and just the state of boxing as he gears up for maybe the biggest fight of his life. Do you guys think Canelo will fight Charlo or Charlo will fight Canelo? Do you guys think that fight's next? If so, leave it in the comments down below, guys. Make sure you guys tune in, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can be notified for all the new content that I put out. And also check me out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can listen to the Straight Outta Content podcast and check out all my content on my on my channel. I appreciate everything. All right, guys, be basic. Peace.